Good morning, good afternoon, good day, everyone. My name is Natasha Heyman, and I am part of the Cohesive Marketing team. I will be assisting the team on today's webinar as moderator. We will give it another 30 to 60 seconds and just to allow for all the attendees to join us on this call. Perfect, I think we can start. Let's start with a few administrative tasks. Note that this webinar will be recorded and distributed post the actual webinar. All attendees are currently set to listen-only mode, but you can post any questions or comments in the chat or even in the Q&A section in the panel. Should you have any technical questions, please log this with the GoToWebinar technical team in either a question mark or a help section on the panel itself. I will be handing over to the hosts in a bit, but let me do an introduction quickly. First up is Ollie Thomas, Cohesive Director of Advisory Services, specifically for the UK, Ireland, and the Middle East. Ollie is an AEC professional specializing in digital transformation. With a background in architecture, he has led various roles focusing on implementing digital strategies, his real sweet spot. As a director, Ollie is managing teams and advising clients on digital impact, focusing on people, processes, and technology. With a passion for client objectives, Ollie holds or builds strong relationships, leveraging his technical knowledge and experience in project delivery and cultural change programs. Victoria, our second speaker, is Victoria Fillingham, Senior Digital Transformation Consultant at Cohesive, and she is an integrated project delivery specialist with over a decade of years of experience in architecture and environmental engineering. Victoria, or Dr. Fillingham, specializes in whole life carbon information management and leads our Cohesive's ESDG community of practice on a global level. Over to you, Victoria.
Thanks, Natasha. And good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. So today's session is the third of our three-part webinar series. If you managed to join the first and the second, you'll already know what we covered, but if not, in the first one, we discussed the profile of the PFI Handback program, introducing digital solutions that can support the optimization of healthcare, as well as touching on Cohesive's role, past and present, in delivering digital healthcare outcomes for organizations. Then in webinar 2, we went into the handover journey and the importance of understanding the future operating model, how that informs and can be used to consider the handover challenges, and finally the need to really prepare for the future, touching on our internally developed PFI readiness assessment. So then today, what are we going to cover? Well, we're going to delve more into what that operating model could look like, to try and understand what the post-handback estates operating model, the to-be versus the current as-is situation. And once you know where you are and where you want to be, we'll then discuss how you develop that into a roadmap, with Ollie taking you through our standard approach, also discussing some of the technologies that can support that future state. So our first section, what is the post-handback estates operating model? To help clients, we're coming to market with a rapid asset data readiness assessment. Our offering is designed to ease the burden on your teams as you prepare to assume responsibility for operating and maintaining key assets moving forward. It will rapidly equip you with the intelligence you need by working with experts who bring extensive knowledge and experience in built asset information management. Our readiness assessment will capture detailed information regarding the asset information completeness, format, and reliability. And this can then be used for you to feed into the expiry health check, or can be used in isolation as part of your own expiry planning process. The idea is that the assessment will provide a comprehensive route to ensuring you have the answers to key questions, such as how will the estate portfolio of assets be managed post-handback? What are the data information requirements within the project agreement? How is the existing data structured? What does it contain? Is it just clinical assets, or does it cover all maintainable assets? Is there evidence to support that the data has been kept up to date? And what are the technologies being used by the PFI Co for asset management? We will then work alongside your teams, being mindful that everyone is very busy in understanding the day job pressures, trying to be conscious of time. And we will agree on our on-site engagement plan to schedule focusing on one-to-one and group discussion meetings to really discover and capture the relevant information. Our key findings are then presented in a full report, and if you choose, we can use this report as a foundation for considering the life after PFI expiry and examining more widely how you can organise and structure your asset data more effectively and use it to support the realisation of that digital hospital future. So to delve into that assessment a bit more, it's essential that we know that there is no right or wrong answer, and the key is assessing as a means to understanding where you are as an organisation and where you want to be. And one of the key outputs of the assessment is the graph that's represented here on this slide in 3 different forms. And the graphic really aims to illustrate the 2 states, where you are and where you want to be, against 12 core asset areas of data and operations management. And the graph acts as a mechanism for us to leverage intention from you and really drive an understanding of where you need to get from the current state, i.e. the blue line on the graphs, to that future state in the orange line. And again, the key point is to recognise that for every trust and every organisation, this journey will be different. So delving into these 3 scenarios a bit more, this first scenario, scenario 1, is a contract based on the PFI Type 2, where the trust intends to take over full responsibility for all estates management activities. The contract means that the trust should get reasonable data and information based on clearly set out handback requirements, albeit the requirements reflect older ways of working. There will be 2D CAD files, there'll be PDF documents, and there will be a standard CAFM system in use. However, it's likely that everything is very segregated within that CAFM system. In this scenario, the trust has a good working relationship with the PFI Co, and the PFI Co has a handback management plan. Although the plan is sufficiently mature and reflects the processes used to hand over from construction operations, but capacity to change is low due to overstretched resources, and the default position is very much doing the basics well. There is, however, in this situation, an eye to the future, where internal ambition is to build capability and understanding that principles of digital engineering can be a route to enabling that future digital estates. So that's scenario 1. Scenario 2 is very similar in the fact that it's based on the PFI Contract 2 model. And again, there is clear handback requirements, albeit reflecting older ways of working. But the key difference in this scenario is that there is a desire to outsource asset operations and maintenance capabilities. Although this could lead to a greater adoption of digital engineering practices within the supporting supply chain, they may have more capacity to investigate and deploy those digital engineering practices. It does mean that you're pushing data handover down the line, making it even more critical to design and operate a model and contractual handback solution that clearly specifies the data handover requirements. Otherwise, that future state will be a direct replica of the current as-is state. But it's quite critical here that there is a real opportunity to define and standardise the data so that you're ensuring that handback is aligned to that future ambition. So 2 quite similar scenarios. And then scenario 3 is based on PFI Handback Contract 1. And that model is almost silent in terms of handover, with very limited specifications as to the handback requirements in terms of the asset facilities data management. And the gap, therefore, is between what the trust might have or may be able to get their hands on and where they need to be. And that gap is much bigger, with potentially the scale of the gap is much harder to consolidate and resolve. They'll likely receive big PDF files and books of information, and the O&M files are likely to be very much out of date, with limited recourse within the trust themselves to resolve any issues of data quality. But in planning to take over the service, it's critical that to overcome these challenges of data trustworthiness. It's understanding if the data is usable. So what is that status of the data? Knowing that rubbish in equals rubbish out. And then when deploying the CAFM system, there'll be a lot of work to resolve these issues, to really ensure that day zero of operations post-handback is as effective as it needs to be. So hopefully running through these three scenarios has highlighted the potential scale of the challenge, but also the scale of the opportunity to embrace digital engineering and data management practices as a means to reaching that future ambition of digital estates. I'm now going to hand over to my colleague Ollie, who's going to talk you through what's next.
Thank you, Victoria. Please step forward. So good morning, afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's great to be with you today for the third webinar, and thank you again, Victoria, for stepping us through the readiness assessment approach. I'm now going to take the opportunity to talk about how we can help clients, such as those who are on the webinar, to move forward with your journey towards the identified target state that may be coming out of those readiness assessments. So the big question is, how do you move forwards? The diagram on screen represents a typical journey that we try and take our clients on. It's an incremental stepped framework that combines our advisory-led approach and our technical capabilities, combined where relevant with client resource to help move clients forward on their journey. Today's webinar, as I hope you're seeing, is representing steps 1 to 4 on that journey, but we can absolutely help with steps 5 to 9 as well. So our PFI readiness assessment that Victoria has kindly talked us through has been developed to create a solution that really does compress steps 1 and 2. Steps 1 and 2 can be quite time consuming and quite costly for clients, but we believe our readiness assessment will rapidly help you understand where you are and where you want to be next. Steps 3 and 4 of the diagram are all about what you need to do to get there and how you're going to do it. And the following slides that I take you through are going to talk about the process of developing roadmaps. This is something that we strongly advocate as a way to help articulate for you as a business on how you move forward in the most cost-effective and efficient manner to realise your outcomes. Please step forward. So when we talk about roadmaps, we tend to talk about them in 3 different forms. First of all, we talk about a high-level roadmap. Secondly, we talk about a mid-level roadmap. And thirdly, about a detailed roadmap. And they're all important as one another and contain various levels of detail with them, as noted by their titles. So starting with the high-level roadmap, we need to consider what are the overall key milestones, the interfaces, the stages, and the capabilities required to achieve the outcomes that you're looking for. You need to remember to include other competing or complementary programs of work internally, and also importantly consider external factors that might influence timescales and approaches. It's really important that we review how much effort is allocated into each horizon or milestone. For example, if you had 3 horizons, there may be a 70-20-10 split in terms of allocation of effort across them may be sensible. That is to say that whilst moving towards one milestone, there's always going to need to be some level of effort in the other horizons in order to help move towards them going forward. Next, dropping down to the mid-level, we develop roadmaps at this level using a framework which splits the key capabilities required into people and organization, process, commercial, information, and technology, building off the POTI model. These work streams recognize the interfaces between them and, importantly, the key dependencies that they have on one another. And this starts to look at a shorter duration, perhaps 2 to 5 years as a maximum, so that we can create line of sight of where you are now and where you need to be in that near term or medium term. Further to the mid-level roadmap is the detailed roadmap. We take a much more near-term view of the world in this case, perhaps 6 to 12 months, recognizing the amount of change that can happen in such a short period within businesses and the external climate. And there is a risk sometimes of creating regret work that we want to absolutely minimize. So as such, we focus on the key activities, their dependencies, and the time to value and the return on investment that needs to be achieved. The roadmap is a key artifact in illustrating what you are likely to need to do, and it is fundamentally built from the findings that the readiness assessment will inform and help you move a step forward on your journey. Move forward, please, Victoria. So one of the key aspects of the road mapping process, as noted on that framework that I highlighted, is to understand the alignment and the need for technology to support your future state that will be identified in the readiness assessment. The implementation, the use, and the onward management of technology and other things under that POTI framework are represented in the steps 5 to 9 of the client journey diagram that I previously presented on the webinar. And hopefully this next section is going to give you an idea of the type of technologies that will be coming to the fore in future ways of working, and some of the activities that we as Cohesive could support within this space and others. So the PFI Handback process will provide most likely a set of unstructured and structured documents, information and data that's going to be spread across a variety of isolated silo systems. These systems are going to include things such as legacy systems, including building management systems, BMSs, asset management systems, AMSs, and electronic document management systems, EDMSs. And there's going to be a mix of static data and also time series data in these systems. Some of the data that is shown in the light purple or the dark purple on the screen, you may or may not get depending on the type of PFI contract and the approach that is taken, as referenced by Victoria in some of the example scenarios. The readiness assessment is going to help unearth what is expected and what gaps you may have, and the roadmap will importantly tell you what and how you should fill them. If we take a look towards the future though, the concept of a more integrated, connected, smarter enterprise asset management approach to using technology is expected. That is the way in which the market is going. That is the way in which we are seeing clients start to utilize digital ways of working to achieve their outcomes. This will allow information and data, again, static and time series, structured and unstructured, to be within their source systems, but then integrated across other systems to contextualize, visualize, and create insight for you as an organization across your portfolio. Here you're going to have much more richer data sets that flow across multiple systems, so you can start to enable operational scale, structure your data, and create an environment which could lead towards the concept of a digital estate or digital twin, which we're going to discuss in the follow-on slides. Please step forward, Victoria. I mentioned a whole load of acronyms on that previous slide, and I can only apologise. You'll be well aware that our industry is littered with them. But when moving from those traditional legacy siloed systems, from those asset management systems, the idea of an enterprise asset management system, or the concept of enterprise asset management and the associated systems, may present themselves. The diagram above, or the vignettes above, outline what good looks like in terms of typical capabilities that an enterprise asset management system may have, and in turn will help deliver against an asset management strategy. The scope of these type of systems tends to extend beyond that of the more traditional asset management systems. They intend to create a more integrated, consistent approach to portfolio scale asset management. At Cohesive, we are recognized by Vedantix as a global leader in asset management technology implementation. And as such, as an IBM Gold partner, we can help clients implement IBM Maximo, a global leader in EAM. And furthermore, as a plan-on partner, we can help clients implement a plan-on solution. Whatever we do, though, we take an advisory-led approach to this, and we help our clients implement the right technology that is right for them to achieve the right outcomes. We can advise on asset management processes that will support this, and the technology that underpins it, aligned to ISO 55000 or otherwise. Please move forward, Victoria. So looking towards the future, again, another term which I mentioned a few slides previous, and you'll start to hear more, I'm sure, is the concept of that of a digital estate or a digital twin. So what is a digital estate? Well, ensuring that our healthcare facilities are in peak condition, reliable and ready when required depends on a cyber-physical approach to connect, contextualize, and often in real time the data about the healthcare asset. That's the fabric, the critical systems, etc., with its physical counterpart. This concept is starting to be known more widely as that of a digital twin. The digital twin or the digital estate will describe all of the healthcare built infrastructure, the data, and the information that enables the healthcare asset to function. Like the physical estate, for example, the buildings, their systems, the equipment, and the spaces around them, the digital estate must work for the healthcare professional and building users who use it. It must be trustworthy, secure, and adapt to changing requirements. And it needs the capabilities and the staff to build it, to run it, and look after it, just like a physical hospital does. The concept of the digital estate supports the wider drive towards a modern and digitized healthcare strategy. It recognised the benefits of joined up data and information, which is fundamental to supporting the asset performance management and the asset management as it is to supporting patient outcomes. At the heart of the digital estate, and hopefully as you're seeing through the video that's showing and will loop on screen, is an ecosystem with the ability to search, unify, visualize, and analyze asset data and information. Having this ability at an enterprise level and across your portfolio will support optimization of the healthcare owner and operators' asset management strategies and management plans, and will allow them to use those assets more productively and with higher levels of reliability. Simply put, the digital estate will enable a golden thread of connected data across your healthcare portfolio. It is a technology, but it is advisory led and has a set of supporting processes to create that consistent, integrated, and repeatable methodology for curating, managing, and generating insight and better patient outcomes from the use of technology. If you'd like to see more about our advisory-led services that we develop in this area and the technology that we can help underpin for the enterprise asset management solutions or the digital estate or digital twin solutions, then please do get in touch. Thank you, Victoria.
Well, thank you both for the presentation and all the information. As both Ollie and Victoria mentioned, we have set up a cohesive rapid readiness assessment. You can either scan the code that you see on screen now, or we will be sharing the presentation deck in PDF format after the session, and you could just either click on there and it will take you through to the landing page and you can set up that meeting with the team. Or if you feel that you need to reach out now, please reach out either to Victoria, to Ollie, or to anybody at Cohesive. We also have the previous 2 webinars available to you on our YouTube channel, where we've created a playlist specifically for the PFI Handback webinar series. You can access webinar 1, 2, and soon the webinar 3 recording will be uploaded to that side as well. We have additional information available on our website in the format of blog posts, articles, and even our brochure. This is a topic that quite a few people have not spoken about. If you want some general information, go read some of our blog posts. If you want to really reach out and discuss more your strategic path forward and your actual transition path, please reach out. You can reach us on the website as well. But that wraps up the series. I would like to thank Ollie, Victoria, Ian, Dave Philp, and the entire team for sharing their knowledge over the past 3 webinars. And we're looking forward to more opportunities, more events, and more communication going out to everybody in the UK. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. And that's it for today.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.